Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
So if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky,
Telling you it's wrong.
others frustrating.
Stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
On Demolition NZ, an asbestos scare at Christchurch's High Street causes a hold-up.
Can't do much about it. We'll just carry on cleaning up the mess.
How to make a road? The easy way. And is this Auckland building the shakiest in the country?
Not what you want with a building.
In Christchurch, Southern Demolition have started work on a row of buildings that have been condemned after the 2011 earthquake.
We're just doing a soft strip out. The boys are all doing handwork, removing jib, separating steel walls and just getting it back to a bare concrete or a bare brick. So when it does come to the demolition, it's just a clean demolition. There's no timbers or anything involved. Less truck picking, I suppose you'd say.
While the boys are busy out back, the 113-year-old facade at the front of the building will be saved. It's been temporarily propped up to preserve High Street's history.
This area is just upstairs at High Street. What we think is there's been, over the last few years, there's been quite a few squatters, street kids, not too sure, been using this to keep dry and warm, no doubt. Been left in a bit of a state.
The buildings were abandoned post-quake, with the former tenants not allowed back in, even to collect their belongings. And with the clean-up come some unusual hazards.
There's a few rooms up here with different beds in them, but lots of rubbish and a few needles and things.
You just got to be careful as you're picking up the clothing as well, because you don't know actually who's been in here, or just anything that's going to really, make someone sick. I've got 2 kids myself, so the last thing I want is to be jabbed up by anything.
Outside, the demolition's proving a bit of a struggle for some.
Just got to get in the right angle.
Coming for some help.
Oh, just smack it from the top because it was going to come out, but
Yeah,
I
mate.
was afraid all those bricks were just going to fall.
It's all good.
Yeah, easy.
While the boys continue the strip out, Tony helps one of High Street's future tenants.
There's going to be a bakery in that corner there, and I just wanted to use it as decorations and maybe build the counters and build the tables out of what I find.
The old glass with the writing, the number. It certainly look cool.
Yeah.
If you put it in the frame.
Yeah, they're going to look really good with a wooden table. Yeah, it just needs the building to be built. Easy.
With the scavenger hunt over, the next step is for the crews to really get stuck in and strip out the buildings. Dalton Ward on the job in the heart of Auckland City.
Me, my nickname, Boss, because I'm the boss. Hey.
Once a karaoke bar and nightclub, after demolition, the second tallest building in Auckland is being built on the site.
Our main concern on this job is how brittle the concrete is. As you can see, it sort of crumbles away in your hand, which is not what you want with a building. We'll go up and have a look and see what the boys are doing.
One of the boys is his dad, Peter, owner of Ward Demolition.
Yeah, grab those couple of bits of ply because I can use them to walk the diggers out.
He enjoys walking in and picking up timber for some reason. He's not happy unless he's picking something up. So you leave a little bit of shit for him to pick up. Keeps him occupied. Keeps him away from the big problems like me bending the step on the digger.
Peter and Dalton both know it's a tricky job. The building's 100 years old and definitely not to code.
We've seen some pretty shocking buildings around from Christchurch and Wellington. This would probably take the cake for the worst.
You couldn't build a building like that these days. You know, it's a house of cards, a little shaken, it's gone. It's scary.
Cool, as soon as you can go, then I can carry on. At least it didn't upset anyone this time.
As the building comes down, Dalton provides a bit of direction to the hired help, a French national.
Stack the bin. Yeah. Yeah, not yet. We haven't got anything to stack. Where you going? He's off. He's ready to go. Do you want to grab the water hose and just give the dust? Luigi! Fuck, I wish I knew that guy's name.
The big mission for the day is to take down a brittle wall. Behind it is a car park full of valuable vehicles. Dalton has to be very careful.
Back corner where we've done the saw cut started getting a bit weird, so we had to take it down. And it's quite crucial that we managed to get that our main existing wall past that other wall, otherwise it would have sort of bowed out and ended up in the car park. There's cars parked about that far away from it, so we've actually got a nice wee Mercedes parked right there that I didn't really want to pay for today. We're good. You can see how close we were to the neighbouring building though. If our wall went back, I mean this concrete's that brittle, then we'd end up owning a bumper off that car, and that's not what we want today. Sometimes they can break halfway through, so if you give it a bit more of a help as it goes, instead of letting the gravity take its course, nice and close to the digger. No, we calculated all that.
The cars might be safe, but Thursday could be crunch day for a nearby eatery.
It's a vegan restaurant, so there'll definitely be some very sensitive people there.
Demolition at Evans Pass. Big explosions are part of the repair work for the vital transport link between Sumner and the port of Lyttelton. It's been shut since being seriously damaged in the 2011 earthquakes, and the repair job is being done by digger and explosives. McConnell Dowell is in charge. 25 blasts using up to 8 tonnes of explosive. An experienced crew is required for such a complicated and important job.
We've been here for a year, but we've only just started actual earthworks in June. We started putting this bench together. From a mining background where you move 1 million cube in a couple of months, this is 100,000 cube in 6 months. So not a big job, but I think the value of it and the purpose of it makes it a big job.
Today the team is excavating a hillside so steep that the digger has to be anchored to another machine to prevent it from sliding down the cliff face.
I shouldn't be able to slide off that edge. For one, I've got a couple of safeties that we've got 2 sets of brakes on the winch, and I've got a blade and a bucket to jam into the ground if need be.
So what holds you on the seat?
Oh, just your core, basically, and a lap belt, of course. Get used to it, and it comes a wee bit natural. Not completely natural, but it comes a wee bit natural, and you just get on with it.
By him taking the weight off the rope, well then it tells that machine there's no weight on it, I've got to start pulling. And then when he stops and starts pulling against it, well, someone's pulling against me, I've got to release. So, and it'll do it slowly. So if he actually goes over a steep face, it'll let him go over nice and slowly. It'll control his movement. He can override it and hit the manual and tell, hey, I don't want to go over this beat, start pulling me up. If it's not helping him fast enough, he can actually override the system and make him pull it up.
But there are plenty more steep challenges ahead for this crew. Kitty Lynn loves the hustle and bustle of her vegan kitchen. But recently, some unexpected ingredients have been added to the mix.
Yesterday, some people from CDM came in wanting to see access to the back because they wanted to know whether our building is leaning on their building, which they're trying to take down. I hope the building will hold up. It isn't our building. Yesterday when they came in, they told us that because we're leaning on their wall, so even if they took the wall down, the worst case is it falls that way, it won't fall our way. But, you know, we don't really want to think about that.
My take on it is still it's going to be leave the wall up and scaffold it and take it down by hand. But unfortunately, that's going to be quite time consuming and time is not on our side. It should be all right.
As Dalton Ward and his team check out the problem wall at the back, it's time to batten down the hatches at Kitty's. Jared's the builder on the team, and he's keen to help out.
He's really independent. He just works on everything by himself. Doesn't need help. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm all good. Used to that.
This is the usual staff coming in soon. I was just messaging everyone to tell them to use the bathroom before they get here, because we're not gonna have bathrooms, and they're just oh my god. Yeah, because we're a team of girls, right? So we're kind of everyone needs to go and use the bathroom, and then there's a public toilet across the road. Actually, where do you guys go to use the bathroom on site? Do you guys have one?
We've got a portable.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But back to the problem. And the demolition crew are wondering what really is at the back of Kitty's. If the two walls are separate, then no problem. But if the two buildings share part of the same wall, then there'll be serious issues. Things are at a delicate stage, so Dalton's keeping a close watch.
So that's the scary part, is finding out what this wall is, whether this is actually our wall.
Yeah.
If this is our wall, then we've got a problem.
Concern grows over the wall, and whether what they're taking down is also the back end of Kitty's restaurant.
No pressure, Jared. I'm waiting on you. Get that on the big draw, mate. That sort of stuff always ends up on TV.
This wall here, we believe, is our wall. So I have to support the roof so that in case it is our wall, it will survive.
The mystery of the wall is about to be revealed.
Looks like we've got a concrete structure in there.
Yeah, so I think we're alright.
Okay. That went good. It wasn't the wall that we were expecting to be there. The majority of the hard part's done, so there's a lot of weight off our shoulders now. We've figured out all the unknowns. Now we're pretty much can just go for guns and get it done.
Dalton's feeling positive, but has he built up false hope?
I can't believe this has actually happened.
The Southern Demolition boys are back at High Street after a successful first day. But now there's a hold-up.
Just gotta wait for an asbestos clearance in the rest of this building here. We had that cleared yesterday, that small part. We've got to wait for them to come through later on today and do the rest of it.
But we don't actually know what time or when they're supposed to turn up, so we'll just plod along, keep cleaning up rubbish. We're just trying to get as much airflow in here as possible. It's just, this place is just dusty and smelly. Once the wind picks up, it would be just absolutely stupid with the amount of dust this place has been sitting for so long. Yeah, you'd be eating it all day long.
Just pick up anything that's rubbish, so as you could probably tell, that's everything. While you're doing it, you can always find things and you have a look at them. And most videos aren't any point anymore, is there? Even DVDs are going out of fashion now. Shows how old I'm getting.
But the boys have another removal job. Southern Demolition boss Alan Edge has taken a shine to some old drawers and has asked the boys to retrieve them.
Oh, he's very keen on helping him get it there.
Oh, yeah, big time. You can carry it out.
I thought you just said you were really
keen to lift it out. And you were complaining that the boys pick on it.
How are we going to get it out then?
Yeah, no one wants to get bitten by Ellen, so you do what the boss says. Pretty much, you want your weekly pay. You do as you're told.
And this is the real unstable room. There's the fucking corner that's about to fall out on it. And the roof's already sagging in.
What do you reckon, Tony?
Nah, it's not going to go. I think the building was built around it.
With the drawers too wide to get through the door, the boys are left scratching their heads.
Did a labourer job in the morning.
There's a simple answer.
We'll bring that wall down, take it out that way.
The drawers will have to wait for another day, as the team need an asbestos clearance before getting into the hard demolition.
Environmental Services turned up to remove that fuse board, so hopefully it'll only take them 5 minutes and we'll get the clearance from K2 and then we'll all go.
The fuse boxes have all been tested and signed off, except for one that was missed in the original inspection.
These fuses are made out of bakelite, which contain asbestos, so they have to be removed prior to demolition.
That last board was all plastic, mate. It's
So it's asbestos removal guys saying it's plastic and we've got the K2 guys saying it's bakelite, so we'll get it removed anyhow and then tick all the boxes.
The samples need to be taken away to the company lab before the boys can return to work.
Can't do much about it. We'll just carry on cleaning up the mess, doing what we're allowed to do until we get the sign off and then we'll all go.
Next time, tensions run high at the High Street site.
But it's all wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong.
Dalton Ward and the team are close to completing the demolition job in Auckland's Commerce Street. The site will be used to construct one of Auckland's tallest skyscrapers.
The part where you can see with the silver wall, which is actually the jib, that's in fact the food storage room that we were seeing earlier. So that bit has been an afterthought and that's been built later on. And as we got to the toilet, that's been built from the ground up and sitting on concrete, and it's actually quite nice and strong. So we're pretty lucky that we're not sharing the concrete wall with the toilet wall. So we can carry on going through and carefully peeling that wall away, and yeah, hopefully shouldn't be any more surprises. All going according to plan, of course.
And so down it comes. But as for surprises, there are going to be several, and the first is a concerned neighbour.
Excuse me, can you get this guy on the digger to come and talk to me? I'm from Barfoot and Thompson. I don't know what you guys are doing, but the whole building is shaking. So, this is the old historic building. I've got about 40 people working in there, and I don't know what you're doing, but every now and then the whole building just goes like that.
How's it going?
Yeah, well, we're getting a huge amount of vibration in the branch next door.
Oh, okay.
So obviously when you're doing those big, it just comes through and it's shaking the whole building. It's freaking everyone out. Everyone's freaking out.
I don't blame you. Yeah, the problem we've had is this wall over on this side is not crumbling away very nicely. It's coming down in large pieces. So that's where your ground vibration will be coming through. What we'll do is we'll call a hold point now and we'll have a tidy up.
Okay.
We'll carry on. We're just going to remove the last of those joists in there. We might try and get Hayden on site and we might come up with a bit of a plan going forward. So we're in a tough position because we've found our methodology that works at the moment, and now going forward it's likely we're going to have to try and change that and modify it so it suits her sort of needs. And that being a heritage building, you can't really avoid that. It's just one of the joys of demolition.
Dalton puts down his smooth handling of the situation to good training from his dad, Peter, an expert on the PR side of things.
It's quite a stressful time for them, so if you go up and get your back up and like sort of, no, this is how we're going to do it, they're not going to follow that, so you've got to take every concern and every complaint seriously, otherwise it'll just get worse and worse. Council will get involved and next thing you know you've got a hell of a bloody problem on your hands.
Also on the scene is Kitty, whose vegan restaurant backs onto the site.
When they were pulling it down, we were just in the kitchen doing our normal prep, and then we can hear and we can feel, but it's like we kind of expected it. It was right next to us.
So basically we're going to carry on taking out that sidewall next to the neighbouring building. We're just going to quietly just whittle it away so we can get those toilets opened up again next door. It should be good, no damage.
As the wall comes tumbling down, their worst fears are realised.
Oh no! That's the fucking toilet! So we've got a food store, a toilet here, and then they've stopped the wall and haven't continued the wall along.
The big question now, how to deal with a toilet that's suddenly become an outhouse.
Oh, that's a first.
Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
So if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
On Demolition NZ, a strip out and some indecent exposure.
Oh, that's a first.
A potentially explosive job at a Canterbury service station.
We've got live gas lines running underneath our concrete slab here.
And some real bangs as a hillside road is reconstructed.
Firing now.
Ward's Demolition are back at Commerce Street. And the truth is starting to sink in. Stripping the wall away exposed to the ladies' loo at the back of the vegan restaurant.
Go to the pub? No. We've got to come up with a game plan on how we're going to replace this wall and take our wall out and cause as least amount or the little amount of disruption to the neighbours as possible.
We continued pulling down more of that wall that's connected to Kitty's shop, and the very last toilet doesn't have a block wall, it's an open wall, and they were using our... So now it's just one of her toilets. We've got a hole in it now. Just keep going.
Keep going?
Yeah, nothing we can do about it. So I just got to go around and let her know that one of her toilet walls didn't have a block wall.
We may need to replace your toilet after this.
Yeah.
It's moments like these, well, all you can do is have a bit of a clown around.
Oh, that's a first. And just in the toilet. And holy fuck, we have a problem. Luigi, guess what your job is?
So here we are, we meet again. I think we spoke too early about the bathroom being an easy.
Thought we were in the clear. When you think you're in the clear, you know you should never jinx it. I said it's going too well.
Yes, it wasn't meant to be like that.
This toilet's got a really good indoor-outdoor flow to it now. One of your lady customers has made an absolute mess.
This beam is what's currently supporting this from
Nah,
this is all.
It's just a temporary prop.
It's still safe.
Yeah, it's still safe to stand in here. It's just not ideal with having a big hole.
Again, I felt like we probably spoke too early before until you unveil the rest of what's underneath that concrete wall. You have no idea. And with these old buildings, anything could happen. It's so ridiculous that you can just laugh about it. Like, it's like, I can't believe this has actually happened.
Dalton's got a theory on the origins of the toilet tangle-up.
Like, you know, back in the day, two old boys that owned them next to each other had a beer in the pub and, yeah, bloody use my wall. Sweet as, you know, as they had a bloody beer. Lucky we took the right precautions and bloody didn't just start knocking the building down without checking. Otherwise, someone would have got a hell of a fright if they were in there. We barely even damaged the toilet. I was expecting bloody water to be pissing out and bloody shit going everywhere. No, it worked out good. These builders, mate, they just muck around all day.
But one little old toilet isn't going to halt the whole project. The boys are back on the job, and the deadline for finishing is getting closer. Christchurch-based Southern Demolition have hit a roadblock. The high street site in the central city's been put on hold, and Ollie Edge is unhappy.
It's bullshit. That asbestos outfit, eh? That ridiculous. How long does it take to clear a building of asbestos? Like, it's been cleared, like, just give us the paperwork.
The boys have been forced to find other work, and Ollie and his crew have headed to the country to knock down the service station in the heart of Leaston.
Demolishing the building so we can put a brand new site in. It's been long overdue with the extra people coming out to Leaston.
We've obviously got a lot of public walking out in the forecourt here, so we've got to be pretty careful about what we're doing out here and our dust control and stuff. We also got to be very careful. We've got live gas lines running underneath our concrete slab here. So we've got guys watching the whole time we're here, just making sure we don't damage them.
It's tricky work, and after just a few hours on the job, the boys hit a problem.
Just found some old oil containers that still have oil in them. Just got to figure out how we're going to get them down, obviously, without spilling all the oil out of them. Whatever that is, some sort of oil. Or some sort of water. A bit more oil. So we'll figure out an idea and then get them out of here safely. Turn those taps off, and then we'll just unscrew them where they come out of the wall and lift them out. And then drain the residual stuff that's already in the pipes out into containers. I'll ring Tones and see if Yeah, those oil drums have still got oil in them, those ones up on the roof. Yeah, one of them's like quarter full, one of them's like just under half. We won't be doing cool today by the time we get those out of there.
It's a setback, but Ollie and Des start to empty the tanks.
That wouldn't have been any good if it went on the ground, would it? Yeah, take the pipe out and then I'll just pinch them and pull them out with the digger. So get a spanner and undo them. Nothing. Perfect. That's what we had the cardboard there for. We're just going to punch out some of those rafters so we can lift those tanks out, and then we'll continue on just taking down the roof section to start off with.
With the wall down, it's on to Ollie's favourite part of the job, the clean-up.
We got what we wanted to get done today. Now let's go do a bit of chook picking and tidy up. The fun stuff.
The demo boys will be back bright and early the next morning for the rest of the building. But amongst the surprises, the boys get a visit from the boss.
Never really know when he's going to appear and start yelling at you.
Another blast day at Evans Pass. Everyone's been cleared from the site, and Rangi is doing the last-minute checks to make sure everything's in order.
This is the shot here. We've got about 4 rows of holes. They're averaging between 3 and 7 metres deep. It's the final shot for the whole job. There's roughly 79 holes and about a tonne of explosives.
That's a lot of explosives. Far less was used to bring down the 2 buildings imploded after the Christchurch earthquakes. Just 55 kilograms was used to implode the old Christchurch Central Police Station, but that was a completely different type of job.
This is the AMFO here. It's pretty harmless until you actually set it all up so it will fire. Every hole will fire individually, and it's all in milliseconds, so it happens. All these 79 holes will go off in probably half a second, but they'll all go off individually. It's getting fired from the other end, so it'll be just like a mini earthquake coming down, and yeah, it will move. There'll be some heave in it, definitely a wee bit of heave. We aren't going to have volcanoes, sort of outcomes. It's going to be very controlled. I don't want to push here, but we've actually got to go.
No worries.
With the shots getting Rangi's stamp of approval, it's time to get well clear of the blast zone.
Firing now.
Well, here we are on top of one of the holes that went off. One of the things we check when we check it is to make sure it's gone.
264.
And you can see the burn mark there. So that's fired. And also the movement of the rock underneath us tells us that it's been fired as well. They designed this catch bench, so there's a 15-metre bench with a 2-metre high berm, and the rock is that hard. You couldn't just free dig it, so hence why we've got to shoot it by drill and blast. If any rocks fall down, they'll land on the bench and not the road that the public will be on. So it's a safety bench we've actually built.
The demolition's done and dusted. The next stage is the restoration of the hillside road to Littleton. The boys are back at the Leaston service station and are getting straight into the demolition.
The mortar's pretty soft on it, which makes it good for us. It comes down quicker.
They're tearing down the bulk of the building behind the petrol station, the back wall and the rest of the roof.
Ah, yeah, fucker. Didn't really want the concrete to fall in with it, but sometimes that happens. Can't really help it. Yeah, it's real brittle, eh? It's an old building. When we go to recycle the product into like crushed concrete and stuff, which we sell again, people don't tend to usually like whittle through their base course. It's probably my least favourite part about the job, to be honest. But it is part of the job and we have to do it. Yeah, you can see the pub now, eh?
And amongst all the trash, the boys find some treasure.
It's a compressor that would have fed the whole garage, but it's got a reasonable sized tank on it. But the motor is the one that'd be worth the money. You know, it's old, but it's in good nick, so it's worthwhile saving. We'll just pull that aside and put it on a truck, take it back to the yard.
That's a good score, that is. The old man will see that and go, whoo!
Ollie's concerned about the consistency of the concrete.
They're real weird concrete blocks. They got like paper in between them and they got mesh on the outside of them and they look like asphalt in the middle.
That's really light. It'll fly for miles when it crushes.
While they wait for the trucks to come and collect the concrete, there's time for a brief salvage mission.
They're definitely nice old doors. You don't see old style doors that can actually concertina up very often.
And while Des is working on the doors, there's a surprise visit from Southern Demolition boss, Ollie's dad, Alan Edge.
Never really know when he's going to appear and start yelling at you.
It's a nice day for a drive.
And he has a few words of wisdom on the makeup of the concrete.
It's only a porous material that they've used in bricks years ago. There's no contamination in it. It's just the type of fill they used to use.
A trip to the country's put Alan in a good mood. He's happy with the demolition so far and leaves the boys to it.
Was that a necessary thing to do? Yeah, because we're going to take the scrap out of it. There's alloy on it.
Oh, right.
It's all worth money. We'll remove the front of the building and it's all piled up over there. We've got one load of concrete to go away in the morning and we'll start taking away the steel and then we'll start to remove the rubbish.
But they're about to tackle the most difficult bit, and removing the roof has everyone on edge.
My scariest bit was having my gas torch going while there's petrol pumps underneath me.
It's a challenging evening ahead for the Southern Demolition boys. who are getting ready to remove the roof from above the service station forecourt.
In the background, we're just setting up the crane. We're about to lift the canopy off the roof over here. It's above a few petrol station pumps, which are still live, so we're taking a few different measures to secure them. We've got water on hand.
And a good night for it, eh?
Yeah, great night, like 31 degrees, sweating my ass off, awesome.
It's an unusual job, and the presence of petrol pumps means some extra work for the team.
Got them wrapped in cloth and we've been wetting them down for the last half an hour now, and we've got a few gas monitors out just around the front, and then we're going to hook up to it with the crane. Got a bit of gas cutting to do above them. Hopefully within an hour she'll be free and on the ground. We've just got fire extinguishers on hand, but there should be no need for them, hopefully. TJ, who's up on the roof, has been doing this stuff for long enough now. It's pretty second nature to him.
Yeah, no, just those two. So I'll get the 4 posters on, tension, and then I'll cut. I just had to gas cut a couple of legs out the front. My scariest bit was having my gas torch going while there's petrol pumps underneath me. So instead of cutting it underneath the forecourt, I decided to cut it on top, so I wasn't putting any of my sparks anywhere near those pumps. Just a wee bit trickier when it comes to live power that's still feeding in there, so there's just wee bits and pieces you just got to take your time with and make sure that everything's dead before we do anything.
A tense few moments as the canopy is slowly lifted from the building.
You want it? I can't see what's behind it.
Yeah, just go down here. Perfect. Everything worked out perfectly. We had the water on standby, and Craig, the petroleum dude, it was perfect. Couldn't ask for better.
With the roof off, there's only a bit of tidying up to do to finish this stage of the demolition. But they'll be back with plenty more to bring down.
Once the site's cleared, they're going to be building a new fuel station through here. And the old one in the background here will be coming down. In the next couple of months, we'll be back out to do that once they've built the new one.
Dalton's got the go-ahead from the neighbours to carry on, even though the whole office vibrates every time something comes down.
Building's got to go. There's not many other way around it. The methodology that we've got at the moment works, and if we try and change it, it's going to be unsafe for our guys to do it.
The crew had to remove a wall exposing the ladies' loo in a vegan restaurant. But now that drama's behind them.
Kitty's been quite amazing to work with, really. She's been more than accommodating. So it's really good to have a good neighbour like that. It's not an easy thing when you rip someone's wall out and find their toilet. Might have to drop her a bottle of wine or something nice.
Dalton and the crew can't believe how degraded the concrete is.
I've never ever seen concrete this bad before, especially with no Rio and that.
We first got to the site, there was like grass growing out the front in the concrete. It was that bad. It probably would make good fertiliser. Most important part of the machine.
The music's worked. Dalton's found his rhythm as he skillfully removes a big beam. The boys are in the finishing stages of the job.
Worst case scenario, we kill someone, we go home, I go to jail. Best case scenario, I go home, have a beer, carry on tomorrow. Pretty much our worst case scenario, our worst worry is this wall falling out into the scaffold. As you can see, all the cracks we've got in the walls here, it's not looking good. Bring the gas down! What's the bit? You're just too short. Yep.
Dalton's called in to finish the cutting.
I'm feeling a lot happier now about the whole job. We've got all the nasty wall done and dusted, so now it's down to one story. Tomorrow we're going to come in with the other digger and eat out the front wall, so we're just gearing up for that now. I suppose we better go and buy the neighbour a bottle of wine for removing her toilet wall strategically and giving her that nice indoor-outdoor flow that she always wanted. It's got a nice serve, nice Chardonnay. Very big fan of my wines. Tell her to enjoy that and tell her sorry about her toilet wall. Oh, cool. I'll see you later on.
Well, Dalton's been great as well to deal with. Like, he's been on site a couple of times to check on us. He even brought in some wines just to say sorry for all the inconvenience. Can't believe just how nice everyone's been about it. A bit of a logistic nightmare. Aside from that, we're good. So thanks everyone.
Back on site, it's back to business.
So basically we're in our last day of demolition here at Commerce. This job's been tricky. It's been a right pain in the ass, but I'm really happy that we've got there and we've nailed it. We're on time. We're out of here tomorrow afternoon. The machine's packed up and the site's nice and swept, done and dusted, which will be good. We're going to have a nice cold beer.
Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
Oh, so if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
Tonight on Demolition NZ, a frustrating facade at High Street.
Badly designed, but it's all wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong.
Down south, WorkSafe checks out a church demolition.
Hey, we better run now. We'll do a runner.
And Track Trouble strands a digger.
And we really haven't got a clue what we're doing, but I've seen it on TV.
Christchurch's High Street's been on hold, waiting for an asbestos clearance. What was supposed to take a few days has stretched into months.
Oh, what was it? Probably like 2-3 months now, because of asbestos hold-ups and clearances and paperwork and all that sort of stuff.
That's the only thing he's good at. He's just sitting on his ass.
Don't even start.
Temporary worker T is fitting in well, and even throws in a history lesson.
This is one of the historical buildings in New Zealand. One of the old buildings before the white people arrived, and this is one of the first buildings they built in the Longwood Clouds. That's what they call it, Aotearoa. It was in 1914, just before the First World War. That's when the building was gone up. And
where does he get this shit from?
As you can see, T failed in history.
T wasn't too far out. They were actually built in 1905.
I'm just going to cut that floor out in front of us that the boys just cleared off, so I can pull the rest of that brick down without getting too much wood and shit in it and contaminating it.
And with the floor off, Ollie pitches in with the chook picking.
Get to clucking, boy.
I hope you're not fucking talking to me, smart ass. Alright, get out of there.
stop wasting the diesel, Wally.
While While the old building crumbles away, T loses focus on dust suppression and accidentally squirts Ollie in the digger.
I'll shower you with fucking bricks.
But Ollie can't spend all day in the digger, much as he'd love to.
It's my favourite part about the job, I tell ya. Don't worry too much about them, eh? You're gonna w yourself in your balls soon, boy.
So you do it.
Ollie's off. He thinks he's done enough.
What are you up to?
Going home.
Already?
Yeah, it's like 5 o'clock.
No, it's like 4.
In Invercargill, local company Demolition World have been hired to bring down the St Andrew's Presbyterian Church.
It's 120 odd years old. More than likely I was baptised here, I would imagine. My sister got married here. I've been to funerals and weddings here. So's everybody else in the district. So a lot of people are quite upset about it, but it's buggered. And it was gonna fall down on somebody.
For now, the boys are just on salvage duty.
Just pulling the TNG apart and checking it out to make sure it's not full of borer. People don't like buying the timber if there's half the timber eaten. Really hard going, and it might take 2 days to do an area like this. But if you use the mini digger, in reality you'd halve that time. So we just try and do things as easy as we can, because we're not getting any younger. Sounds like we're going to have to get the grease gun going. The first timber building I ever pulled down, it was quite massive and it had timber from Africa, and we had it in big piles and we couldn't take it away that day. And we came back in the morning and it had all been flogged. Lorry loads and lorry loads of it.
It's not long before a phone call throws a spanner
Hello,
in the
yeah.
works.
Oh, good. Oh, I got your email. Okay, we'll see you shortly. Hey, WorkSafe are coming down. They're going to do an inspection, so... where's my vest? Where's my chaps? Where's the paperwork? What's unsafe? Everything. Oh, you're right, man.
Yeah. Oh, that bloody wire, I knew I'd trip over it sooner or later.
You're just looking for a day off. I know your sort. Hey, we better run now. We'll do a runner.
Asbestos removal was completed earlier in the week.
Come on,
and WorkSafe are paying a visit to check the paperwork's in order.
How's the job going anyway, in total? Like, and as a whole, nothing challenging?
No, not too bad, actually. Asbestos report. Asbestos removal. So that must be my removal plan.
WorkSafe are satisfied with the removal and leave David to his demolition. During the distraction, David's spotted something that takes his fancy.
I'm going to have a wee play and see if I can save one of these LED lights. Oh, I don't think you can put a value on something like that. Like, to me, it has significant worth, but monetary-wise, I mean, I don't know, because I wouldn't sell it.
David's careful chiselling is making progress, but he's about to hit a speed bump.
Can't be done. It's rats.
At High Street, Southern Demolition are cutting and clawing their way into the buildings at the back of the historic facade.
The bricks getting saved by the client. They're going put back into the building just to try to save as many bricks as possible, just for heritage.
Just picking up the bricks and laying it out so these idiots here can pick it up.
Very disappointed, man. This is the only thing he's good at, is keeping that seat warm every single day.
During the demolition, the boys find another problem.
We went round to the front and noticed that because they're keeping the facade, the steel poles aren't too good. They're tied into the building.
Concerned, the boys call in Southern Demolition boss Alan Edge.
Both ways. And what hasn't happened is they haven't taken the leg support that runs down below that. So we've got another steel beam running through the building that they've actually tied into their bracing. As soon as we take that back pillow out, that'll drop down with all the weight of the wall on top of it and just pick that whole front up. We can't pull it down the way it is at the moment. If we carry on, this will tip the whole facade over.
The problem was 3 steel beams from the original construction, hidden in the building structure, are still tied to the front facade. Demolishing the building would cause the facade to displace and fracture. After years in the industry, Alan knows only too well what can go wrong. Even small-scale demolition can lead to disaster, as was filmed in an Auckland neighbourhood.
No! Oh, you done.
And that was just a little job compared with High Street, where the facade falling over would have been catastrophic. The engineers are called back to High Street to see the problem.
See here, this is how bad it is. Badly designed, but it's all wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong. And they haven't even separated the steel beam. Those bricks and the front wall are tied into the facade. If this gets any upward movement at all, it'll tip that facade over. We knew what the contract was. The facade would be braced, satisfactory for us to do the demolition.
Alan's experience and firm words have had a result.
Basically, the engineers are going to go away and they're going to do some redesigning. It could take a couple of weeks by the time they do that, and then get the steel back in there, and then we'll come back and go again. Lucky we check our work, isn't it?
It's another setback on an already delayed demolition. Down in Invercargill, David's trying to save the stained glass windows he's taken a liking to.
It's quite satisfying to me. Okay, got the time, let's put a wee bit of effort and see if we can save something and make something of it of some significance, because someone put a lot of pain and suffering into making these. What we're going to do is I want somebody round here to do this, okay? Because I'm going to just try and gently from the other side just pop it, okay? So the idea is we're going to hopefully pop it out. I don't want it to bend. Terry? Tell me when you're ready and we'll have a crack.
Ready, yeah?
When I say we'll have a crack, we don't want it to crack, but we'll have a crack. Can't be done. It's rats. I forgot it's got the thingy on it. It's got the perspex on it.
David's not going to let that stop him, though.
That'd be a handy thing. Bit of use for it.
Can anything go wrong here?
Oh, everything can go wrong because it was actually built in place, never to come out. Hold on, hey Wayne, just don't bend it. We're going to try and take it out flat. So if you're, that's it. Yeah. All good. Magic.
Now we'll throw it away.
Now we throw it in the skip. Nah, that was good. This is a pretty minor type job, really. The ones that are really fun are the really dangerous ones. I mean, when you really got to think about what's going on. Wayne and I were working up at the freezing works years ago, and we were under the freezing works in the river. And in the river channel that went under the works, there was this concrete wall, and we had to cut a large section out of this concrete wall. Wayne decided that he was busting to go to the toilet. So, okay, I'll wait on you, Wayne. So away he went. Anyway, while he was away, I decided to play a bit of a joke. So I took my gumboots off and pushed the wall over and had the gumboots sticking out from underneath the slab. And of course, when Wayne come, and then I went and hid. And then of course, when Wayne come walking back over, we saw the slab over with the gumboots sticking out of it, thinking, hello, David's under that. That was quite funny at the time, wasn't it? The only downside of that is, of course, I was in my socks in the mud, but I thought it was worth the effort. Hold on, you must almost have it. Good to go? Good one. Well done. Well, it's been 100 odd years or so before, since someone's come through the window, I guess.
With windows saved and floorboards out, David and his team are ready to begin demolition tomorrow. But something's come up.
Just another friggin' day in paradise.
The Southern Demolition crew are back at High Street. Now a solution's been found to keep the old facade at the front stable.
The engineers come up with beams to put in there to hold the weight so we can separate the facade. So it's all ready to start splitting up and cutting now. Just going to completely separate the front facade to the rest of the building, so when the walls start coming down, it's not going to pull the facade over.
Up on the roof, the boys make sure the facade won't get caught up in the demolition behind it.
Taking off any of the supports that are still tying in the front of the facade. So when the ollie goes to start pulling on the back of the floors, it's not pulling the front facade over. Spent all this time on trying to save it. Last thing we want to do is pull it over.
When we looked at it to start with down the end there, it looked like it had separated and looked like it would be free at the top, hence cutting the bottom out. But as we've looked closer, we cut a hole in the roof and looked closer, it's actually tied in, so the bricks are tied into the facade. So if it falls, it's going to pull that facade with it. So come up with another plan, so another little hold up, and we'll get back into it.
With company boss Alan Edge on site, they find a solution. Detach the bricks from the facade and get on with it.
Just hook down onto the bricks and just get a hold of it, and we'll just see what it's going to do to that.
With such a complicated job, tension grows between him and his son Ollie.
Hang on, I've been doing it for 30 fucking years. I don't need to be yelled at. You've got to go up and then go down. We've got the fireplace there and you're still hooked on the front wall. If we don't lift up and snap that wall and you try and force it down, it clicks straight through, it'll pop the fucking wall at the front. Yeah, but this is what I mean. You've got to lift that up and down to get a weak crack in it. You can't just force it down.
It's all getting too much for Ollie.
I'm not stressful, just getting a bit of an earache from the old man in my ear all day. You get those days though. It's just one big fucking mess now. Always just wants to get it done.
It may look messy, but this demolition is highly planned.
We planned it because we put a beam in there and welded it so we could carry the weight of the internal wall, and then we knew we could snap it at any time we wanted. Yeah, they're not easy buildings to do because the mortar's that weak. You don't know where they've tied something in later or the strength, and so yeah, the risk's not over, but big danger of getting in there is.
The first of the High Street buildings is down, opening a view not seen for more than a century. It's supposed to be a major demolition day for the St Andrew's Church in Invercargill, but the job's stalled before it's even started.
So I'll let her off. You hold them here until I get it, and we'll do a bit of jiggling. Okay? Just another friggin' day in paradise, trying to fix a cock up. One of the boys dropped a track off yesterday, driving somewhere he shouldn't have. And we really haven't got a clue what we're doing, but I've seen it on TV. What's happening?
You're going to have to come straight on. It's going to keep slipping off.
Oh, out there, you mean?
Thank you.
Oh, why didn't you say, man?
Straight on.
You think I'm psychic? Like, we might be friggin' useless, but at least we don't know what we're doing. Just watch your head, Wayne.
It's got to go down. See if you can pull it a fair bit. Oh.
Ah, shit. Yeah, hey, Wayne.
Yes, I know.
Well, good on you. Let's hope the chain doesn't break and take your head off.
You'll be wearing it, not me.
Righto. Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, this way a bit.
No. Oh, it's going. Oh, yes, Mum.
Yep, it's on. Right.
Oh, I'm glad I'm the boss.
Down.
Now that the digger's back in action, it's off to the church to begin the hard demo.
Today we're going to pull most of this down. We're going to leave the bell tower standing until tomorrow morning. There's a few issues. We've got to not damage the bitumen. We've got to not disturb these trees. We've got to not disturb anything on the other side. There's another building there and there's bitumen. Showtime. Let's do it. Touch wood. It'll go well. So we want everything to come in and down. Bugger! And yes, getting a bit rusty. Let's see what happens here even. Didn't see that coming.
A good start, but there's plenty more drama ahead.
If this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
Oh, so if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop, stop, stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
On Demolition NZ, down comes the Southern Bell Tower. A muffin mix-up on a Christchurch site.
Listening skills, where's the half your staff?
And it's like a war zone at High Street.
There's not really much we can do about it.
We wasn't expecting the whole thing to come down.
St Andrew's Church in Invercargill is proving a bit of a challenge. Demolition World boss David wishes he had a bigger digger.
I need it not to fall back on me. We play there. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, let's not pull the wall over on David. On not. So what's to stop the whole church tipping away from me and just completely collapsing? Nothing. Push the wrong board and the whole thing will go over. What do you reckon about that, Wayne?
I think you push it in instead of pulling it out.
Good point. But there it is, the church. It looks pretty vulnerable now. But it'll still fight. It'll fight us to the last.
David gets the building down in no time, leaving just the end wall and the bell tower. But the lack of space causes some difficulties.
far from bloody high enough. And like, you know, like if it's going to come down, it's going to fucking come down on me, isn't it? And I'm sure everybody would love to see that, but fuck that.
It's not going to go out in the street.
I'm not worried about it going on the street. I'm worried about it landing on me. Risk that wall falling on me, which it quite probably could. Why would you risk it? Why would you? So, I'm thinking we're going to try and creep through here, and if we walk on a tree, we walk on a tree. Apparently they're 300-year-old native trees that they've cut off at ground level. This is the regrowth. They're very scarce, apparently, and they've made me promise not to damage them or disturb them. When can I swing round? I don't want to hit the... How's the other side looking? Sacrilege. Time for a coffee, I feel.
What do you got there?
Oh, just something that would look all right in the garden. Plan for tomorrow is come early, back the digger up and push this over. Wham bam. This plan, it may not want to push over. If it doesn't, then shit creek, here it come.
Tomorrow will be the toughest part of the job, toppling the bell tower. Southern Demolition are back at High Street. They've done 3/4 of the job. Office worker Matty checks in to make sure staff have everything they need and also tries to drop in some morning tea.
How long have I been telling you? Coffee.
On this morning.
She's terrible, eh? Listening skills, worse than half your staff.
You got your chocolate muffins as well, okay? Enjoy your day in Demolition!
TJ has more than muffins on his mind.
There's 2 I-beams running through the centre of the wall. I just need to put like 150 mil gap separation between the I-beams, and then Ollie can start pulling away on a wall.
Are you going to do it now for me?
Oh, I had to, fuck it. I've got 2 guns in here, but I forgot to grab the one with the cord on it. So I had my smoko by going to grab my fucking gun. And I was there real early this morning too.
Unlike yesterday, eh, bro?
At least you turned up today, mate. I'm real proud.
At least I turned up. Wow, that's rich coming from you at the moment.
I forgot to grab my gas gear. So my gas cord, I've got everything else, I just don't have my hose.
TJ's pickup mission cuts into his smoko time.
Marvellous, you know, real short and sweet. Just like everyone wants. No, that's my own fault. Got preoccupied this morning.
It's alright, he's making up for the rest of the week. But he's had 45-minute smokos all week. If only the old man knew, eh?
With the correct hose and torch, TJ's now back in action. With the beam cut and removed, Ollie can now go to work with his digger. That's one way to get the wall down, but was it planned?
No, I didn't think it was going to go either, but very brittle.
Oh, I knew it was going to go at some stage, that's why I walked back out there, but I wasn't too worried.
Just as the boys are focusing on a tricky and delicate part of the operation, they get a call from the other side of town.
Good news is we're fucking out of here. Bad news is you have to lock your digger up and come to the meatworks with me.
Why?
Because someone's been going in at night and preloading, clicking all the copper.
It's going to come down at some stage, but they're still humming and hawing about it, so we're just getting all the scrap out before the thieves get in and get it.
They'll be back. There's plenty more work to do at High Street. It's a new day at the St Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Invercargill. David and his team from Demolition World are ready for the key moment of the job.
Getting ready to push the bell tower over. Got a bit of footpath protection here. Change the bucket, put a wide bucket on to give it a wider surface area. And we're hoping that I can push it over. Not much of a day for it, but I mean, let's do it. See what happens. So if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie. Maybe even Wayne.
The pie will have to wait. David discovers a problem.
Damn, I can't get the height to push the concrete floor up there.
David's concerned that if he doesn't push high enough on the tower, the top-heavy structure will break and fall backwards onto the digger.
Get more height. Bugger. I thought today was going to be an easy day. I might try and drag some of this rubble down here just to get me up like this. When you look at what can go wrong, why wouldn't you spend an extra 20 minutes? Look, I don't know if this is going to work, but I mean, there's no harm in trying. And like, not a lot's happening, is it? Like, friggin' nothing. Look, see, if I was to drive that forward now, that might be, you know what I mean? If I'm to drive it forward, it might just tilt it enough. Can you stand over here? I need to know, because I'm going to drive that forward and push up at the same time. And hopefully, I just need to know it's going that way. Okay, we're going to do it. Unfortunately, there's no turning back. Okay. I'm hoping this will go well. Did something happen? You know, look at that.
The tricky part's over. The crumbling church shows why it was assessed as being well under strength for the building code. David will need plenty more energy to tidy up the site.
Well, I promised myself a pie if everything went well, so I better go and get a pie.
There's rapid progress at High Street. The boys have perfected their system on the site. Ollie and TJ are doing their final prep for today's demolition.
We're just about to cut this I-beam, the rest of it. We've already pre-cut it. Now it's going to go through and cut all the tags off.
What's that to avoid?
The building falling down.
TJ gets to work with a gas torch. And there's plenty going on behind.
Oh, what a tough guy out.
Get on your ass again, Nick. Give it another rake up.
You say this every time I fucking pick up rubbish. You.
I never. So you do know how to pick up rubbish. Ah.
You do know how to...
Ollie decides it's time for a bit of action on site.
Do you want to stack that trailer? You and Leo?
The warm-ups are over. Everyone's raring to go for the real business of the day. The place is starting to look and feel a bit like a war zone.
Can you go see them first because they can feel it?
Who?
The ladies up there.
Yeah, they will. Don't worry about them.
Whew.
She's dusty.
Wee bit of a concern. We pulled down a wall and it stuck together instead of breaking off in just a little piece at a time. The neighbours thought it was another earthquake, but it was just the way that the wall broke. It didn't break the way we wanted it to. There's not really much we can do about it. You know, once it comes in a full piece, you can't really stop it.
So I just want it all coming down in the centre. I don't want to pull the roof off or anything. I want it all to come down the same spot so we got as least chook picking through the bricks as possible at the end.
The bricks on this site are more than a century old, but can still be used. Thousands and thousands of them.
We're trying to save as many as we possibly can without them becoming an issue.
One fell over, so we're trying to restatch them.
That's it, boys. Another 6 years of that, you'll be fucking still going.
After all that hard work, the boys have really earned smoko.
I'll let yous go. All right. Hey. Drink. 15. 10 for you.
A little more demolition and tidying up as the day comes to an end. Next time at High Street, T has a tangle up.
So pretty much I'm the life of the company.
The church might be down, but it's on to David's favourite part of the job, the salvage.
Funnily enough, I think the extra 10 minutes of putting a bit of rubble there to get a little bit more height paid off. Oh man, better clean out the digger, it's full of dust. Yeah, it worked, but it still didn't feel that good. It's a bit freaky because you don't want to do $80,000 worth of damage to your digger, and you don't want somebody to see a disaster and think, okay, now we know these fellas are cowboys. Tiny bit of skill, bit of effort, but a lot of luck. It's a shame that the cone's bent. I probably would have made something out of that. Perhaps a rocket. Hello. And I usually go around and try and pick up the bits of coloured glass because one day I'm going to have a bit of a play with some lead light. And like this is the genuine, the real McCoy, the old English glass. So it's got beautiful colours. Look, I'm definitely going to save some of this ironwork here. That'll look good in my blacksmith shop. Hello, the cross is still intact. An iron cross. That looks quite cool.
A lot of the things pulled from the rubble will end up being exhibited at the Demo World Village, where self-confessed hoarder David collects old memorabilia from jobs all over Southland.
We started this demolition yard 23 years ago, and it was a dream of David's to have a demolition yard, so we said, let's do it. We started finding little things on job sites, so I started keeping them in a wee shed, and then one day David said, I've got your little shed, I'll bring it home and see what you want to do with it. 2 paddocks over, so we dragged it over with the digger.
Cut the fences and dragged her over.
And then we carried on from there, and we started making a village.
And there's a special addition to make the place really come to life.
I thought, well, I need some people in that house. So I rang up H&J's and thinking I was only going to get 2, I came home with the whole family. And then I just became addicted to mannequins, and now I've got over 200.
Oh, I think we're about 100 short. I think we need more. I like them. This one here, there's one here, he looks a bit like one of our sons. If we didn't get a buzz, we wouldn't do it. And we know that other people will enjoy looking at it. This part of our life isn't about making money. This is just about sharing and enjoying people's enjoyment. Simple.
Back at High Street, there's never a dull moment.
I wasn't expecting that.
Do you think Ollie was?
I don't think so too. He wasn't expecting the whole thing to come down.
Yeah, I just pulled the supports out from underneath it, went through and knocked them all out, and that last one on the corner, and it came down pretty nicely.
So far, the demolition's gone well, and the propped old facade out front is holding up as planned. But Ollie's thinking the next bit could be tricky.
There's a bit of a stairwell here tied in, which could be a wee bit more difficult the way it's tied into the building, but we'll see when we get to it.
Things are at a sensitive stage as the crew and the heavy gear edge closer and closer to neighbouring businesses.
They're just leaving for the day, so we're going to start this next bit because they've been moaning a bit about the vibrations and what have you. So the facade of our building is the same facade of their building, so they can feel a bit of the shaking through the front of their building. So.
Demolition's a team effort, and not everyone is doing the glamour job of knocking things down.
I'm the waterman. I'll be on the host. So pretty much I'm the life of the company because you can't live without water.
It's not all plain sailing in the water department.
I think it's those guys that's letting the team down.
The water's not going through to our first tanks. We're just running out of water a wee bit fast. The nozzle on the hose is a bit bigger than usual, so instead of fanning out, it's just pouring out. It's just to keep that dust down, eh? We don't really need any more complaints. T! And what the hell are you up to? Almost got hit in the face with it. Out of water.
T gets bored and starts to make his own fun.
The little garden hose isn't really cutting the mustard either, so we do what you can do. You just try and keep as much water on it as possible. Just watch yourself.
But the demolition isn't as clean as they'd hoped.
Oh, I bet you they fell that one.
Not the way I wanted it to go. We left that last bracing on that wall up there because the old man didn't want to touch it. And doing that left that floor and made it all want to come back towards my bricks, but he said I had to do it, so there's a bit more cleaning up and chip picking now than what I would have liked.
They're close to completing a very tricky job.
Hit the road. Jack. Yeah. Oh, you cheeky little bugger. The balls again.
A bit of fun at the end of the day, but the next time will bring something far more serious. Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
Oh, so if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself with pride.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop, stop, stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
On Demolition NZ, a new face at an old racing site.
Right on my resume, really good at driving a forklift.
Why is an archaeologist at High Street?
For some cool shit. Hopefully we don't find any cool shit and we just carry on.
And what is a digger doing inside a Christchurch office? An early morning start for the last day of big demolition at High Street.
The last wee bit of it standing, so we do it in the morning just because we got those neighbours next door and we don't want to have any complaints or any bad feedback, so we'll do it before anyone turns up.
With Ollie now working for Ward Demolition, a new driver will be at the controls of the digger.
We've got Kieran, he's been operating for us for, I've been here few years now, so about 4 years as well, 3 years, 4 years. Pretty capable, quite handy in a digger actually, so it's quite good.
All going well, they'll have it down before daylight.
Just waiting for it to drop down, and it'll probably be the cleanest drop out of the whole 6 we did here. We stand with Ollie there. We stand with Ollie.
Perfect.
Perfect. Everything.
TJ, that was fucking awesome prepping, bro. That was awesome.
Fell perfectly inside, so all the bricks blew out, the roof and floor collapsed on the inside, so it blew everything out.
Kieran knows it's important to do a recce before taking the controls.
Kieran's pretty capable. He just likes to get in and help out with the prep work, so when he gets into the digger, he knows what he's already seen. So, yeah, it just clears his mind that what he's up to. He knows exactly what's going on.
Things are going very smoothly. What could possibly go wrong?
I can hear something, but I'll just talk to the boss, just on the know that we've got alarms going on next door. We've got fire on the way. I think so, yeah, it was an alarm going off. Oh, yeah, there goes those sirens. Look what you do, eh, Kieran? You get on a digger for 5 minutes, you get there, get the fire brigade here.
You ask them for some water while they're here.
It's a positive too, isn't it, eh? Yeah, good to see you're positive on a Thursday.
The firefighters left after seeing there was no fire. Kieran is curious as to what set off the alarm.
As you hit the roof, it just did a wee push and pull, so it did a wee fucking movement. That would have shaken a wee bit down here. It was just the vibrations of it tugging away and then the floor collapsing. But you couldn't ask for any better. Like, you got live buildings next door, of course the alarm's going to go off. They didn't come inside and they didn't ask what or anything. They could see what was going on and there was no damages next door.
Demolition's done, and the boys banter as they chook-pick through the debris.
Oh, I thought Al might have been here to watch the last part come down, but that's what I was thinking last night. He might want to come in and see it or do it himself, but no, I think he's more than happy with Kieran's capableness.
A quick finish to the job, and the boys head off-site to a quieter place for a well-earned breakfast.
What's the time? About 7? Yeah. 10 to 7? Yeah. 45 minutes. Not bad, sunshine, that's pretty quick.
Ellerslie Stables, an old building being demolished by an old family company, but with a new face calling the shots. Auckland's famous racetrack wants new-look stables, but with strong links to the past.
It's quite old. It's just got past its use-by date and they need some space, but they're going to keep a section of it, I gather, for heritage.
While Dalton's been running the show at Customs Street, Peter's brought in his younger brother Tyler for his own crack at being site manager.
See, we've got a shiny new window here. That was last week's lesson. Managed to put some rebar through it.
He's going through learning the route of how we do everything, learning his feet on the projects. It's actually very cool. It's quite cool to see the boys working with the company. My wife does tell me that I'm probably too harsh, but I've got to teach the kids that life ain't fair and it ain't going to be right and it ain't going to go according to plan, and they just need to learn how to handle the school of hard knocks.
Running the business, just kind of keep following Dad. Maybe a career option in the future, but have a scrap with my brother for that first. Quite a talented digger operator. Better not tell him that. Being the brother of Dalton Ward, the one and only, it's quite challenging as everything I do in the digger, the boys remind me that he could have done better. Spiking out the little bits,
Picking up bits and pieces is called spiking up north. Down in the more rural south, they call it chook picking.
Oh, I love spiking. Spiking is my greatest passion. I do. Spiking, you separate the rubbish out of the rubble. You get in there like a seagull. You got to go pick it all out of the rubbish. It's good fun. Keeps the back strong.
It's a good site to learn on. There's asbestos on the roof and salvage is important, as some of the coal reef from the old stables will be reused in the new building.
We've had an old roof that was underneath the iron and it's been removed years ago, and it's got a bit of residue dust from the old fibrillite roof, so we'll take that off and we'll fold the paper up and we'll vacuum it and remove that, and that'll get disposed of. I'll jump on the phone shortly and I'll get that boom lift that we need to in for all this high stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll get that sorted out. Other than that, everything else is all right, isn't it?
You're reading through that.
I've already read through it and signed it, mate, so I'm all good.
Peter's put his trust in his youngest son. Will he be up to the mark? For Taggart Earth Moving, demolishing a small Sydenham office building wasn't one of their bigger jobs.
So what we generally do before we start is we check the building to make sure that no one's in here sleeping or anything like that silly.
At 115 square metres, the office was half the size of many houses. But these things are never straightforward.
What's going on here with that? That's not even locked on. I might have to knock that down then now. We've got to separate the concrete, steel, and then you hit the soft strip, because they've got to go to all different places, otherwise the cost is way too much trying to load it all out.
Because it's such a small building, Steve's brought in a small digger.
Doing all right, yeah. She's a bit tightening at the start though, eh? Like, it's pretty close to you. So making some room now. We can get rid of that beam and then we can get into it a bit further.
The longer the demolition goes, the more obvious it becomes why the building had to be demolished.
The foundation's fallen away on that side. Separated there. Look up the top there, how it's separated the two panels. And that's because over there we showed you on the floor how it's slumped. You got that cracking and separating there, so they can't really fix that either. It's pulled away. So basically it's unrepairable, so it has to come out.
This building's tilt panels have been taken out carefully because neighbouring properties are half a step away.
This one here, and this back one, and that far one over there is going to have to be cut and craned because on the other side of the buildings, and they're only probably within 100 mil away. Yeah, it's a safe method. Yeah, you don't want to damage any other buildings.
The next stage is getting an even smaller digger inside the office space to complete the soft strip out. It's cold, wet and windy, and the boys are well wrapped up.
Just wet, everyone loves it. Ugh.
First on the day's agenda, get the hydraulic jackhammer ready to break up the old concrete pad on the site.
Gonna pop some holes in the pad on the ground just to break it up, so then we'll put the tine on and just start pulling up the pad to see what's underneath. Anything of interest, I suppose, for the archaeologists. Oh, I got it right.
Look under the slab because it's an archaeologist's interest. Because it's pre-1900s.
Find some cool old bottles. Shut up, Kieran.
With the City Council archaeologists due soon, the boys start smashing up the pad.
It takes a bit of effort to get through, but that's nicely done. We're allowed to break it up, but we're not allowed to remove it until the archaeologists are here.
T's gone from casual labourer to full-time worker for Southern Demolition. TJ's taken him under his wing.
I'm going to show you how to change it. All good.
So you know everything about it.
What you got me? He's pretty good at explaining things in it, but other times it's just, I don't know if he's just not in the mood.
But sometimes T's not the best student.
You can't hold that. What did I say?
What you told me to go and hold it?
I didn't say you go hold it. I said get away from it.
No, you said go.
No, I said get away. Change over the breaker and put the tine on. The archie will just sit there and watch while Ken run a line through pretty much and just pull chunks back. We'll just check underneath it, check for some cool shit. Hopefully we don't find any cool shit and we just carry on.
The archaeologist arrives on site to see if anything historic is showing up.
There's going to be a chance that there's going to be pre-1900 activity here, which would be interesting for me. There could be a mixture of things. We could find like pharmaceutical bottles, or we could find household items like alcohol bottles, which is very common in Christchurch, or teacups, stuff like that. And then we can really piece together people's lives in those early days of when Christchurch was founded.
First the hook, and then the buckets are used to scrape away the concrete pad.
Yeah, that's all pretty modern. No archaeology for me today.
None today?
It looks like it could go into archaeology deeper.
Yeah.
But obviously, if we're not going that deep, then I don't need to watch it. That's cool.
No worries.
I really thought there was going to be stuff here because of its pre-1900 history. But it's just because of the depth we're going to that we're not actually finding anything. If we were going a bit deeper, there might have been rubbish pits. Basically, we dig up people's rubbish all the time, and it's a snapshot into their lives, which is quite exciting. You don't read that in history books, so it's exciting.
With the archaeological tick-off, Southern Demolition's finished the job and ready to move on. Steve's back at Coleridge Street with a clear plan of attack.
We're going to strip out all the soft strip inside this wee building, and we've got to use that smaller digger. So I'm going to blow out these windows and that first so that we get ventilation in there so that you don't gas yourself out. I'll track the digger in there and start stripping out the roof and all the soft strip, the jib and the wood and stuff.
Steve gets down to business. For this stage, he's downsized his digger, going to a smaller 1.7 tonne unit. That's because it's easier to manoeuvre inside the tiny office spaces.
The concrete and the iron we're going to keep separate, so you get rid of all this first, and then your concrete's clean and your steel's clean, isn't it, you know? Strip all this soft strip off. So the concrete's clean for when you remove that and load it out.
He's gone as far as he can with the small digger.
The next step is the 225 is going to come in with the processor on it. Then we'll start munching these tilt panels out and take the steel out.
The next day, and a new phase of the operation starts.
Start removing this roof and pink bats and carry on with that before I can process that wall.
The roof comes off easily, but it's also stirring up dust.
Just set up the sprinklers so it keeps water on the concrete while I process it. Otherwise, normally you could have a guy on the ground squirting it by hand. We'll process that panel there with the processor, munch it down. Locking you out.
A good day's work. The front office is gone. Now the main part of the building is next. Steve also has some advice for our cameraman.
Now, you should always have 3-point contact, you know that, don't you, Matt?
Yes, I do.
The bin will come in the morning and I'll load that into the bin. And the scissor lift is coming in the morning. They're going to put some props up in these panels here. And then I'll drop these 2 front panels and take the roof out.
At the old Ellerslie Stables, Peter Ward and son Tyler are forming a game plan for the day's demolition.
So that whole section there gets transplanted from there straight down, and it gets transplanted straight down to the end of the building over there, just past where the roller door is cut in there, past a 2-storey piece.
The wood is being divided between Peter and the builder, who'll use it to rebuild the stables.
To see wood as good as this, yeah, I mean, this probably hasn't seen the light of day for 80 years.
Well, Dad reckons this is his bread and butter and he's done it from day one. This is pretty rare when you find good wood like this. He wants it all stacked nice and neatly. Because he'll resell it in the yard. He's kind of got a soft spot for reserving, well, pretty much everything. Yeah, Dad will pick up hose fittings, wood, just anything, you name it, if you can keep it, he'll keep it. Even if you can't keep it, he'll turn it into something. Mum gets big 30-metre bins delivered at home and fills them up with stuff Dad wants to keep. Anything that comes home that should not be home gets biffed in a bin. This is going to take all day.
The logistical nightmare, 3-point turns.
It's not going to fit. Oh, I have an idea. If you've seen Austin Powers, you probably know what I'm doing. Oh, I can't swing it around now. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And write on my resume, really good at driving a forklift.
Keeping the wood in pristine condition adds extra time to the job.
That's split. Average. Don't tell Dad.
I think I spend more time with Tyler than I do with actually my own family.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, we have our moments, mate.
We haven't actually had any moments.
No, we haven't actually. No, it's been pretty good.
Peter is fond of native wood and goes out of his way to recycle it where possible.
People just come in and quite often they actually ask ahead. They'll ask for this wood and then when the salvage crew finds out that we have it, someone's already asked for it before. So they call them back and yeah, so sometimes there's a waiting list for it even.
Peter's going to be happy with us, we finally did it all right.
With the wood stacked and stored, Tyler and the team can move on to the trickier part of the job, asbestos removal. Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
So if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pride.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop, stop, stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
On Demolition NZ, the job proves tougher than anticipated at Ellerslie Racecourse.
It's not what we wanted.
Specialist equipment is brought in for the deconstruction of a quake-damaged Wellington wharf. And demolition begins on the historic Lancaster Park.
Something you don't do every day, is it?
It's slow progress for ward demolition at Ellerslie Stables, with asbestos on the roof holding up the job.
We're removing the tin and then we're vacuuming all the dust and picking up any visual bits that we can see, and then we pull up the battens and peel up the paper and then hose down the roof until it's clean. We have a new suit every time we go through into the dirty zone where we're dealing with the asbestos. We shouldn't actually have too much fibres around our face, but yeah, you do it because that's the rules and that's what you do.
So this is the Bane party gear.
So this is one of the bones.
It's not exciting to watch and it is a bit of a pain to do, but it's the little fiddly bits that we've got to get done before the crash and bash starts happening. It's a fun part everyone wants to see, but this is the behind the scenes that goes in before the loud noises happen. The roof line itself is not contaminated as such, but underneath it we've got battens and paper which has old asbestos tiles. So back in whenever the roof was put up, laws were a little bit more relaxed. The guys would have peeled the tiles up and just kind of scattered them around the roof, thrown them around. They just throw the roof on top and put it back down. If we don't do this properly, it affects the people that are going to be building the building. If we leave the site contaminated, if the rubbish goes out contaminated, you've got guys at the tip that are at risk, you got your truck drivers at risk. There's a lot more involved than just the guys doing the work.
Hot today. Yeah, the sun came out real early. That's just too hot. They don't really breathe much, but normally you can go and just your jockeys, but wearing the harness, it gives you a rash, so you just can't win. It does get to you, but we're just gonna take breaks and stay hydrated, and then you just keep communicating with the boys and see we were putting the hose on us, and that kind of helps. But yeah, mainly you just get really hot in the suits. So yeah, we got a good section done, and then now we can move on to the next bit. Yeah, we're getting through it. It's just such a slow process, especially those bits there. There's kind of tricky bits where it goes under, like these big bits. You just pull it up, and we got a whole method going. So.
While Tyler and the team put in the hard yards up on the roof, Mark has some fun with an awning.
Anytime anyone asks me what I do for a living, I literally just tell them I smash things. They seem to enjoy that. It looks like I haven't hit anything, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's pretend this section doesn't exist. He can have the rest of that. That's okay. Just wait for the other boys to clean up. Home time. Off to the pub.
In Wellington, the team at Heb are demolishing something a little bit different. A vital but quake-damaged main wharf at Centreport.
Because of the Kaikoura earthquake, everything's been damaged, which means we can't do a traditional approach of just cutting up the deck and breaking it into lumps and letting it all fall down. We have to physically use a crane and the saws to cut it up into liftable pieces.
Pile foundations, as you can see on quite a few of them, the connections is completely shot, and the wharf is no longer being supported by the piles. It's a bit of a wonder that the wharf is still up. This is one of the reasons why we have to use this method of deconstruction.
The work can be difficult and dangerous, and the way it's carried out has to be precise.
If you fall into the water with all this heavy work gear on, you're going straight to the bottom. So again, that does throw up a lot of risks that we have to be very mindful of. Moving plant and machinery, heavy objects that you can get caught in between. And unless these guys are switched on, then
people die in these situations. So we do require an intelligent sort of approach. We do need good guys who are using their brains every minute of the day.
And working on such unusual jobs has its challenges.
Supply of materials can be a problem because the gear that you're using out here is technical. It's not like you can just whip up to the local store and buy something if something breaks. It has been built very well. There's a lot of steel, a lot of good concrete in there, and that requires a lot of technical cutting. You can't just get in and smash stuff and have all the debris drop into the water.
But there are bonuses. A seaside barbecue lunch.
Everyone's had a nice easy week and enjoyed themselves. And we're celebrating it a bit more with a barbecue. We're only serving 12 people. We've got this much bloody sausages and bacon and everything else. Got a name for every single seagull on site. Yeah, that's definitely Clive. Eager as always. Sees food, smells food. Waiting in line nice and early. He's a good gull.
The concrete piles need to be cut down to the seabed and removed. And to meet the challenge, HEB have brought in a specialist pile cutter from the US. It surrounds the pile and a blade powered by hydraulics slices through the concrete, a bit like a horizontal guillotine. And like a guillotine, it's quick, clean and efficient. 2 cuts are made on some piles, one above the waterline and the other below.
Because we're not generating a whole lot of slurry by sawing through the pile, we're just crushing it very quickly. There's very, very little waste that comes from the pile and ends up in the sea, so it's really good.
The team's delighted with their pile cutter, and it'll get plenty of use as the country's ports modernise their wharves.
Morning, Matt. Just got the hook bin in here now, and we're going to load that soft strip into it.
Good progress at Coleridge Street, and boss Mike Smarts dropped in for a look.
Steve's doing a good job down here, eh? It's only a small project, but sort of wedged in between 3 other buildings.
I'm going to get rid of that soft strip and poke it up the back there, and then put the processor back on and cut this panel up the top. Might be able to knock off early, eh?
Is he allowed to?
Yeah. It's been a bit of a pain actually double handling stuff a bit. The good thing about it is you can make room, can't you? The more I demo, the more room I'm making now.
The supports are up, and Steve gives the all clear to swing into action.
I'll give this a nudge. Yeah, it was a bit of a worry that actually. It seems to be at that paint line. It seems to be splitting and separating there. Hope everything else goes smooth today. Well, that didn't go well, did it?
The roof's off, but Steve can't knock off yet.
What about this wall here?
Yeah, I'll pull that over as well, hopefully.
Did you know that it was actually leaning against the other building?
Yeah, it is leaning against it a little bit. I'd rather have it leaning that way than towards me. Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
A different technique involving concrete cutting, cranes and chains will have to be used for the next stage.
2 side ones first, and then the 2 back ones down. And then the plan is to lay them down here on the timber so we can get the chains out.
With the crane holding the wall steady, the next step is to fire up the concrete cutter and slice across the wall so the crane can lift it up.
Once we've cut through so far, then the plan is to get the neighbours to come outside and evacuate their building just in case, because we obviously don't want anything to go. I mean, we're all professionals, but sometimes accidents happen.
Hi guys. Hello. Can we...
One wall's out of the way, and now they use the same procedure to get rid of the 3 that remain. The mission the next day is to get rid of the last section of the walls using a fairly basic method.
Plan is to put the teeth of the grab bucket down in between the 2 walls and then grip it with the thumb, pull the wall down, laying it down as we come back without the wall kicking out and doing any damage to any other property.
On the final day, the foundation gets broken up and the debris is carted away. The little Coleridge Street building is no more. New Zealand's biggest demolition is underway. The once mighty Lancaster Park's being reduced to rubble, 100,000 tonnes of it. The job dwarfs the country's previous largest demolition, the Grand Chancellor Hotel, which was just a few kilometres away in central Christchurch. Work at the park actually began in 2012, when the red stickered Hadley stand had to be taken down. The crew are getting constant reminders of Canterbury's quake problems. Another aftershock has just struck. The shake means the crew has to do yet another inspection of the already badly damaged cricket stand.
What we're doing is okay to do that now, but look, if we get any more over the next 4 or 6 weeks while we're doing coming down, this may get to a point where we need to brace that or do something. Yep. We could see, where the damage was, where the cracks were. So now we're looking, is that damage worse following that earthquake? There was already a lot of cracking in it. Some of those cracks have got a little bit wider, but based on the wall thicknesses and reinforcement, it's okay to carry out the rest of the work today.
The park's historic white war memorial gates are protected by an Act of Parliament, so a lot of care's being taken when working around them. But there's plenty more to do at one of the country's most famous sporting grounds, and Lee Butcher is in charge of the continuing project.
I would say it would rate as one of the biggest demolitions, in New Zealand history.
With a job this size, there'd been talk of imploding the Lancaster Park Stadium.
We've got so many businesses and people's homes so close to the stadia that taking on a risky type of demolition like that, the stands themselves cantilever out the way. So it's very difficult to work an implosion, to force all that building to actually come in when it essentially wants to naturally go out the way.
So, because of the risks, there'll be a more low-key operation with cranes and high-reach diggers. There's plenty of work to do before then.
So what we've done, we run an exercise in June for groups, members of the public who have an affiliation with sport, and these groups will have an opportunity to purchase these seats at a greatly reduced rate. So parts of Lancaster Park will exist throughout New Zealand for years to come, and we think that's a very cool thing.
They've been unbolted, and the crew's flat out taking them away.
Something different, something you don't do every day, is it? 30,000 chairs.
It's easy removing the seats in the lower part of the stand. A special plan's been developed for the ones higher up. Flying foxes for seats. A great idea, and one that really speeds up the job.
Pig and Sarah's on board to help us with this part of the project, and they've come with this zipline solution, which you see behind us, which has worked very, very well. It's not very noisy, it's not very intrusive, it's been very cost effective, and they've been able to do a great job in a very quick time.
It's more than just seats. By the time the job's over, just about everything from the stadium will be resold, recycled and reused. At Ellerslie Racecourse, Ward Demolition are preparing for a crucial day's work.
Look at that, Rich! Hey! We're getting the building ready to be craned out because the Auckland Racing Club, they want to keep all the trusts, they want to keep everyone. The asbestos took about 3 weeks to do small progress and the building's still there, so we're a lot happier with this.
The crane work's difficult and expensive, and Peter Ward comes down to brief the boys to make sure it's done right.
Projects are all about going A, B, C, D, E, F. You can miss a B out and go straight to C, but you've just got to watch that you don't go straight to F, and then it's just exactly that, an F up. Anybody think all your mummies have dressed you? Yeah. Probably have. Makes all the difference, doesn't it? Yeah. Hey, Travis, did your mummy dress you too?
Yes, did it.
Fuck, you're lucky. You're lucky your mummy loves you. We're going to crane the end section off, which has got to be
glued on to the end of the building to remain, and then the rest of the trusses we're going to lift those off, put them on the ground, stack them all up nicely, and then they're all set there for the owner.
If you don't support the wood evenly across the wood and on the same size, then the heat of the sun will buck on my wood and it'll start warping and twisting. So all this beautiful carry will start getting a big hootenanny in them, and then they're rubbish. Because you can't put, I mean, we don't build bent houses. That's our money, you're giving our money away. How am I going to pay you? You want some bricks?
Magic beans.
Hey, that's right, your mother wants some bricks. I'll pay you in bricks.
With the team briefed, Peter's off and Tyler's happy to be back in charge.
Making sure we're all his kids in a row. Even Richie's, won't say his age, but Richie's old enough and he's still Dad's kid. We're all Dad's kids.
Tyler's kind of, he is under guidance at the moment. I've said it once before and I'll say it all day, every day. I think he's going to do really well. Just the processes behind the scenes that aren't so much the crash and bash, but I think he's definitely going to go far.
Hurry up, Mark. It's not all about being a star. We actually want to get shit done.
He's definitely going to go far. Then look down and he's standing there on Snapchat.
Hurry up, Mark.
Oh, my pen. I dropped my pen.
Steal it. He steals my pens all the time. See, a lot of the days I just want to jump up there and do it myself because, you know, he meanders around. We call him Muck Around Mark.
Peter's back to check up again, and he wants a bit more action.
Get all the wood swept up, get all my ends down with the other shit, get all our salvage out of here, get all that cleared, then we can knock this down today. It'd be nice to get something done. Next. You know, we want to get done. We get paid on productivity, real estate, boom.
There's a famous Peter Ward vein in the neck that pops out when you're not doing so well. So it's the arms start going and that's it, you've done something wrong, Hucker.
But overall, the boss is pleased with progress so far. The boys are looking forward to the next stage, hard demolition. Lancaster Park's been reduced to rubble, but a lot of work had gone in beforehand to get it ready to wreck. The park's now been fenced off. The idea, people could post a picture of their favourite memory of the past on it. Mementos from inside are being saved too.
Yeah, the Pillars of Pride have been an important part of the project. We're going to take them down carefully and return them to Canterbury Rugby.
There are plenty of other goodies being recycled. Fridges, couches, outside lights.
Well, the plan is to take them to Sunset Speedway in Westport. It gives us some options for all-season use and twilight meetings. So it's a long way from fruition, obviously, and there's quite expensive bits missing. So just where we go from here, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but it's a good thought.
Since there's not enough tools, I could probably get you guys back down in the basement,
Yep.
and I could just get them a hand with this.
Mate, you.
Can't wait.
I can't wait, living the dream. Because of the earthquake, obviously, everything had to get left. Like all those brand new wine glasses, serving bowls, plates, everything's brand new. You could start a small business with all this office work that's unused.
There you go, some sauce. Expired about 10 years ago. Should still be good to sell.
Umbrella good?
Yeah, you've probably just been chucking all that random shit.
Save it for a rainy day?
Yeah.
Check the booty out on this. I don't even know what this was. $22.50, whatever that, and she used her savings. What we'll do is we'll just add that to the filing cabinet. 2 hard baskets. Yeah, just a whole lot of general rubbish.
Outside, the lighting system's under scrutiny. What looks like a great bargain for the West Coaster is turning out to be a bit more complicated.
Oh, they disappear into the back of that fella. Oh. I think this is my 3rd trip, because the second time I came, they found the left and the right hand hadn't been talking. One of the major components has been sold for scrap. What was going to be all together is not quite all together.
All these glasses that haven't been used for years. Everything brand new, brand new, brand new. Brand new LaserJet cartridge, unused. Stadium member caps, everything unused. And the thing has been sitting here ever since the earthquake.
Lancaster Park has had several names. AMI Stadium, Jade Stadium. Now Aladdin's Cave might be more appropriate. As everything's swept out, the death of the great stadium comes closer. Every day, round the country, hundreds of buildings are demolished. We get behind the barriers, give you the real story behind bringing things down.
Oh, so if this goes well, I'm going to shout myself a pie.
You can see the pub now, eh?
Tell them to stop!
The demo teams face daily dangers and challenges. Some sites are tricky.
Telling you it's wrong.
Others frustrating.
Stop, stop, stop!
How they face those challenges is coming to you on Demolition NZ.
Well, that went to plan, didn't it?
A new day at Ellerslie Racecourse, and the team taking down the old stables have the last of the hard demo to do.
Windows not out, we got the windows out. Wood still on the roof. They can fuck off. Yeah, so we got more wood off, but that is just keep ticking away, progress, get as much as we can.
Tyler's been learning how to run the site, but today he's been relegated to the hose.
We're doing basically the easy demo, and AJ's here to look over things or have a go, so I probably won't be able to keep him out of the digger, so we'll see how it goes. How about I have a go and you just tell me if I'm doing it wrong?
I'll just go home.
Huh?
I'll just go home.
No, you can just coach. So I'll probably let AJ do it because, you know, he's got kids to feed and I just don't want to deprive the kids. So
It's all about the kids.
yeah, it's all about the kids. I'm hose driver. I'll leave it up to him. He can make the mess.
Yeah, the old brick buildings, they're pretty easy to pull down. Yeah, nothing too strong about them, especially when all the roof and all the trusses and that are gone. Learn everything pretty much working under Peter. He's taught me what I know. Son Dalton's taught me everything I know. A few of the other boys.
What about Tyler?
Yeah, no, I've learned a little bit from Tyler.
Oh, fuck off.
Such as, it taught me how to be humble, keep calm, collected.
Calm, collected,
You know,
smooth
yeah,
operator.
Keep it smooth, tidy.
AJ makes me look good. Gets the building clear, old man comes in, no stress.
Do you think you would have done it as quick as AJ then?
Oh, probably not as quick, but
quicker.
Yeah, I would have put it on the digger or something, I don't know. My ward, I tend to break the digger as well as the building.
Peter Ward arrives just in time to check the team's work. He's given Tyler an extra task.
He's not happy until you leave site, then he's real happy. He wanted me to put the wood in my ute and take it home for firewood. So I'm only here to get firewood all day. Oh, look at that. Good piece of kindling, that. Hopefully he does not want us to keep the brickwork, because no, that's a nightmare. That is actually a nightmare. So Dad's got like this sixth sense, and he can sense if you can make money out of it. So he'll sit there and tap the bricks, and he can hear it. So it speaks to him.
When a brick comes out, you sort of take it and you can bang it together and all the mortar falls off, and it's nice lime mortar, then those are the ones you want. These look like they're going to be kicking and screaming, so a lot of hard work.
The rest of the job doesn't go as smoothly, as the digger demolition causes problems for the whole site.
Tell him to stop!
The clean-up phase is finished at Lancaster Park, and Taggets are moving on to the soft strip. Before they can tear out the fixtures and interior walls, they need to create a way to get rid of their rubbish and scrap.
Going to have the loader running in and out of the lift shaft, pushing any of the material that comes down. So we're just going to get the breaker in here, break out all the concrete. Any rubbish that comes down from the top floors, we'll just have the loader pushing out to the 20 tonner outside and loading the skips.
Got some guys up top on some machines, detailing the rooms and pushing the material down here, which we keep RT contact about being safe, getting an all clear. Once I've got the all clear, I'll push through with the loader, push it to here, push it to my digger, jump in the loader and pretty much load the bin.
The lift shaft isn't Matt's only responsibility. He's got other duties around the park.
The water's been turned off with City Care doing the water main at the moment. So they're gonna continue to strip the rooms up top, but I have to hold fire with the lift shaft until the water's back on because it's gonna be too dusty. Move a bit of this and get the tanker out so I can hook it up, go fill up some water and do some dust control around the site. Supposedly they let someone know, but I never knew anything about it. I would have thought the smart thing would be to do it during the night so it doesn't hold people up.
The water woes mean Matt's had to quickly change his work timetable.
Hey there, Matt.
Yeah, receiving.
The water's back on, innit?
Is it?
Matt said the water's back on.
Who said that?
Matt.
Well, not me.
Not Matt. B-A-T, Matt.
Oh. Can't understand the English accent. Matt sounds like bat and nat, hat. Anyone sort of can do this, but I'm sort of the only one that has the time to do it, I guess. Everyone else is sort of up in their levels, doing their own thing. It's got to keep the dust down to keep everyone happy.
With the water back on, there's plenty of action going on upstairs too. 3 diggers and a bobcat will work as a team on each floor. Lee Butcher's the project manager.
Called it a mechanical dance. It is a bit of a dance, really. We go through and quite vicious. We're just grabbing rubbish. So plasterboard doors, all that stuff, carpet. It's like measured violence.
The work's very systematic. There are 4 machines. They start in the middle and work back in teams of 2.
And we sort of split each level, that's why 2 lift shafts, split the Paul Kelly Stadium in half, so to speak, just so that there's some efficiency in the bobcat working backwards and forwards. He's not having to trundle backwards and forwards to fall into the stadium.
It's the country's biggest ever demolition and recycling site.
Success for us is about 2% to landfill. So that's a huge goal. So that's 98% recycled, 98% reused.
The team's removing almost 100,000 cubic metres of material. But it's not all so easily reached. A massive fire at the Seals Winslow factory just south of Ashburton. 50 firefighters from all over Canterbury battled the blaze. The company makes animal feed and pellets. The main damage? The packing and storage shed. It was a tricky fire to fight, and also a tricky one to clean up after. Christchurch-based ProTrans was called in to demolish the remains of the building.
Just looking to see what stuff is dangerous goods and what's not, so we know what we can mix and what we have to cart separated. The last thing they need is another explosion. I thought everyone in Ashburton carried a knife.
No, I carry guns, much easier.
That's nothing, that's only bloody aquatic life, so we won't be dumping it in the sea. We'll just take the building down around what they want to keep, and Bob's your uncle.
ProTrans boss Gerard Daldery's called in his heavy artillery, the remote-controlled digger.
One guy has the remote, and another guy standing off-site has the kill switch, so if anything goes wrong with the guy using these, someone else can kill the machine.
We're not allowed to enter the building because of the danger of it possibly falling down or touched with a digger or anything. That's how we're using remotes. It's the most cleanest and tidiest. The steel stays clean. We get rid of all the stuff off the floor for a start. Still rather be sitting in the digger though. You get more of a feel for it when you're sitting in the digger.
The idea of the remote-controlled digger came at a time of adversity, the Christchurch earthquakes. The devastating quakes had left whole hillside suburbs dangerously unstable. Diggers were needed to demolish houses and stabilise cliff faces.
We saw the need to demolish all these structures with no people put at risk, so we thought, well, it's only remote and hydraulics. How hard can it really be? The big thing that we have to overcome is that once you're over the other side of those lines, if anything goes wrong with the machine, you can't go and get it. You can't send a mechanic out to fix it, you can't send anyone out there. So we need the ability to bring the diggers back.
In the wee tin shed, a couple of guys sort of run a few ideas past each other, sourced a few parts from overseas, chuck them on the digger and yeah, tweak them a bit. They seem to work okay. So I think to date, there's sort of 3,500 hours we've clocked up on these machines now with no operator, just all done remote controlled.
The diggers can be controlled from a distance on the ground or in the air.
The deal is that we've job here which we can't put people into, so we had the remote control digger to go in there to clean up all those rocks, because you've got such a steep cliff over the top here with so much loose rock, you can't put anyone there, so we've had to remote control the JCB digger.
At the Seals Winslow production plant, the ProTrans team got off to a flying start.
Pretty much gone to plan. Haven't had any hiccups or anything like that. We didn't manage to damage anything in the process, so it's just a clean-up job now.
I thought it was going to take about 5 to 6 weeks. What happened? You cut that in half.
It's too efficient.
It's a busy start at Ellerslie Racecourse, where the boss in training, Tyler Ward, is preparing to bring down what's left of the former stables.
That pace. Everything's getting done at pace. Got Uncle AJ in here, get the ball rolling. Ball is now rolling. It'll be AJ in the digger with a prodder to pull down all the wood, and then he can kind of give the walls a nudge, and we'll probably start with the separation here so we're away from their building, and then it's all clear.
I'll get it down today, so I better get it today. At pace. At pace.
Tyler's taking being in charge very seriously.
Oh my God, Travis! You want me to do it? You're on your phone, not near your face, you need to look. Travis as well. I was the only one not on my phone. Oh, everybody wanted to video. Cameraman's here, you'll see it on TV, you don't need to get your phone out and video the whole bloody thing. Kids in their Snapchat these days.
AJ may be the best digger driver on site, but today it seems he's almost too good.
Richie! Hey, tell him to stop! Get the hose going, tell him to stop! Stop! Stop the fucking work, yes, get a hose on it. Yes, wait. Yes? Yeah, we're gonna get a hose on it, they're not happy.
What's happening with this bloody water, mate?
Oh, no, they just didn't set up a hose.
It's been a problem since, since we put it in here, Leaks everywhere, hose is bloody useless, someone keeps driving over the top of it.
That's trav. Big trav. We need to suppress the dust, so there's... AJ actually works too fast, and the hose can't keep up, so... Especially when there's no hose fitting. We're ready now. Yes. Just leave it up to AJ, let him do his thing. Maybe feed him a Red Bull or two, and then speeds up the process.
The new hose fitting doesn't quite fix the problem.
Too dusty. Should we, I'll get told off, they'll be like, why aren't you fixing the problem? And you should know better.
My job.
Okay.
At pace.
Just real slow, yeah. Just don't break the concrete when you pull it down. Start in sections. There we go, problem solved. Just don't break the concrete.
The boys finish the day tired but happy, knowing they've almost got the site ready for the exciting new stables rebuild to start. It's early on a Saturday morning and clean-up time at the Ellerslie Stable site. Tyler's finding it difficult to get into gear.
Rough day. That's all right. We've got the last of the demo to do. We've got to
sort into piles, so we've got concrete, brick and rubbish. This is a good learning curve being here, kind of left alone and figure it out. I've watched a bit, but figuring it out by yourself was actually a whole lot harder. They make it look easy, put it that way.
Tyler injured himself at home the night before.
Yeah, broke a hand, so dealing with that, that's always fun. Generally heals up, it'll heal up. We'll get it checked later after work. I got trucks on, so gotta keep the ball rolling and sort that later. Could be worse. That's how you get out of spiking, you see, you break your hand.
With an injured hand, Tyler can't operate the digger, so some extra help is called in.
Yeah, big night, so we're off to the A&E. Also, it's Mother's Day tomorrow. Got to head off, get the old duck a present. So, yeah, I'm going to head off early and get this fixed, and he's just going to demolish the last bit and tidy up and ready for loadout.
With Tyler out of action, it's up to AJ to finish off the job.
Smashed it over, eh? Came over a pretty piece of piss, eh? On a shitty Saturday. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Single-story building.
They've left a small section of the stables to remind racegoers of the course's history. The site's being used to build the most up-to-date stables block in the country. Tyler and the team are joining his older brother at an even bigger site, with a familiar southern face joining them.
Typical fucking South Island, all right.
At Lancaster Park, demolition's just begun on the Dean's stand to the east, but the team still have some salvage work to do on the nearly completed Paul Kelly stand.
Each concrete section we're going to cut and then drop them, and then the digger will take off the bottom ones. That's what's inside the cable trays, power cables. Copper's worth really good money as recycling, and it helps pay for fuel and wages and machinery. Yeah, it's just a per heavy gauge, eh? It's like a power line almost, eh? It moves around quite a lot when you're pulling and that on the thing, the whole cage moves around. You're safe as houses up there, it just feels a bit unsafe when you're up there, but it is very safe. You just got to try not to look down.
Luckily, Dean is in Regan's safe hands.
It's not the first time I've had a man cage on with blokes in it. So we had a meeting this morning, giving them the rundown on what to do in case of an emergency or anything like that. Obviously we had a designated point on the last side. If anything does go wrong, it'll be on the other side of that bin.
Okay.
So same deal. Anything happens, sit down, hold on, not get away from the building, put it down over on the bin.
Okay. See you on the other side, mate.
That's pretty straightforward. The only difficulty in it is you've got guys in a man cage up alongside a damaged building, which if the building decides to move, then we move away from the building and find a safe area to touch the boys back down on the ground.
You want to cut that very top piece off or not?
What, the actual...
Do you reckon that's going to be too much weight to hold on to? Or are we just going to drop it? All right, we'll drop it.
Yeah. Swing us out just a wee bit, we're going to drop this.
Down.
Yeah, there's one way to get it down.
So now we'll cut that.
You good there?
Yep. Just pulling it off slightly off the wall. We cut it down below and then the whole thing drops. It's still held on by those wires.
Let's go down and cut the wires.
Yep.
But some of the metal is more stubborn than Dean was expecting.
The fuck are you held on by? That's us. Down we go. It's over. Good on you, brother. I was just hanging on. It's just one of those mongrel bolts. It's just hanging on for no other reason than it's going to. It's demo, mate. The digger will pull the rest of it off because it can reach it. Yeah, it was just tied at the top, so we have to take it off that way from there, but from now the digger can do it.
This job's done and dusted, but there's still plenty more to do at Lancaster Park.